Welcome to the Lucidess podcast, where I explore everything because I believe everything is related to everything else. Everything is connected to everything else. Everything is entwined with everything else. So if you touch one thing, you touch all things. I also explore everything because I believe in the infinite, unbounded potential within each of us. And if that potential is infinite, then there's a lot of topics we could cover. So the podcast I'm recording right now is different from the one I recorded earlier by the same name. And when I recorded that one, it was another one of my, middle of the night conversations. I think it was early morning. And what was interesting to me was that I started from where I was and allowed myself to just explore from the moment that I was having. And it led me into some beautiful stuff. But along the way, I also shared some other more intimate things that, about an hour or two after I had recorded it and posted it, I thought, I don't know if I should post that. That something doesn't feel right about that. Like I've shared, there's been some intimacy that was shared that isn't ready to be shared yet. It's not the right time. And I thought, well, I'll wait a little bit longer. I'm not quite sure. So I don't know, I waited maybe another hour, and I was like, no, you need to take that podcast down. And the whole second half of it is quite good, but the first half was me just sort of rambling more intimately about my life, and not time to share that. It's kind of the message I got. So this is me re-recording that podcast, and sharing my journey, but not sharing too much, which has been interesting. I was given that message maybe about 4 to 6 weeks ago, and I realized I wasn't quite sure where that line was. Don't share too much, and I found that line today. So it was interesting for me to go, oh wait, there's some good stuff in here that can be helpful in people's journey, and then there's some stuff that is not appropriate to share at this time. So, okay. The first thing I want to share, we're going to talk about hate, and my journey with hate right now, my experience with hate right now, my learning about hate, but before we get there, I was watching this great tennis match, and I believe it was Billie Jean King who said pressure is a privilege, where all these tennis players come in when they walk into the big stadium. And yesterday I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh, that's so true for me in this situation. Like, pressure is a privilege. The pressure to heal, that's a privilege. The pressure to grow, that's a privilege. The pressure to be, that's what I wrote. That those are all a privilege. Meaning, in that moment when I was feeling that and writing that, I thought I could feel ancestors who did not have the privilege to feel the pressure of healing. They didn't have the privilege to feel the pressure of growing. Their lives were much more in a survival state, or the opportunity wasn't there. So it was a good reminder for me that pressure is a privilege, and it's a privilege for me to feel the pressure of growing and healing and changing. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. The next thing is, so I wrote these long journal writings, and they kind of just go everywhere, but they've taught me a lot in the last 24 hours, which is when I have those moments where I feel the hate, what I'm doing is allowing, and you'll see why. As I was writing, it slowly began to form this concept that hate is freezes a moment for me, and if I'll notice those moments when I feel the hate for someone or something, when I feel that, if I will freeze that, feel the hate, I feel the hate, and also allow it to freeze the moment, and then see the hate, look at the hate, know the hate, and then decide. And when I first got those words, I wasn't quite sure. I was like, especially the last one, I was like, okay, I can understand, see it, look at it, know it. But when it said, then decide, I wasn't quite sure what that meant, and I'm starting to. So let's see, where do I want to? I wrote so much, I don't think share it all. I want to get to this part. What is hate? Who is hate? What does hate teach? What does it have to share? What does it have to show me? That I'm wrong. I'm wrong about hate. Hate doesn't ruin a person, no more than any other passionate energy. It's a trainer, a leader, a horse, and a whip, ? Oh, it's sharp and direct. Look here, look at me. See what I see and decide. But first, look. Look at what I'm showing you. Don't ignore it. Don't refuse it or refute it. Look at it. See it, know it, then decide. But don't just look away or push away or ignore hate. I'm here. See me. You can't get around me. I'm here, everywhere, in you, in all. Hate is here to stay. It isn't going to just disappear by not seeing it. See hate, my hate, your hate, all hate. See what not looking at hate does. Where does ignoring hate lead? ? To ruin and destruction, to pain inflicted upon us all. No one wins. And then I finally wrote the words blocked out. Look at hate, see hate, know hate, then decide. So that was interesting because that actually set me on a whole spiral about, feeling, as I was writing all that, I could just feel hate in my body. And I was like, is this all I am? And then suddenly, and as I asked myself that question, is this all I am? Then the question came up, well, who am I? And then I went on this whole other thing, and I started writing all these attributes I know about myself. And I was like, well, that's funny. It's interesting that because of this societal pressure, never to hate, that hate is so bad that we should never feel it or experience it or God forbid, learn from it. That as I wrote it out, I was like, oh yes, I am feeling hate. I experience hatred, in both directions. And then I'm like, and it's one part of the many parts of me. But isn't it interesting, the stigma around hate? That like it's the worst thing you could possibly do. Which I write at the bottom of all of my emails is that quote by the Dalai Lama, which I love. My religion is kindness. I think there's a difference I know there's a difference between being kind and feeling hate. Feeling hate is not unkind. It is literally feeling an emotion. It would be like saying, well, someone that's peaceful can never feel anger or rage. Well, that's not true. I'm sure the Dalai Lama, who was a very peaceful person, well, I know I've read some of his stuff, he's experienced those intense emotions. So me seeking kindness in my life has nothing to do with me feeling, experiencing, and learning from hate. The two are not synonymous. Okay, so then I wrote, who is hate? I'm afraid of hate. I'm afraid I'm only hate and always hate and not supposed to be hate. It will ruin me. It will destroy me. It will alienate me. No, hate does not do that. Hate solidifies inside and outside. Hate solidifies. What does that mean? ? Solidify. Life is the antithesis of this. Hate is the end of life, the end of motion, the end of movement and possibility. So then, who is hate? Why hate? To end emotion and movement? Why? To glimpse a moment? ? To see. That's it. Just see. See the moment. See the hate. That's it. Hate is the one who shows Hate is the one who shows us the moments we need to see again and know again. See hate, see the moment. Try now. See the moment, see the moment. Okay, so this is when I'm starting to, and then I go on for a little while. just like kind of feeling through. And what I'm getting from all this is this ability to freeze a moment, solidify a moment. I don't really know how. It's like for me, it feels like I'm taking a picture. I'm freezing that moment, and then just kind of looking at it from all angles, and like what's really, I would not even say, when I say see it, look at it, know it, I would definitely say I'm feeling it. Like I'm trying to feel all the different energies that are present and what was happening in the moment that brought up the hate, like that brought up the hate. And it was interesting as I started nearing the ending of this page. I know I've told you about this saying that's been really powerful lately, was dismantle the rape. And then it was like a week later and the word came, now dismantle the tape. And so like just start dismantling all the stories. And then so last night I was like, oh, dismantle the hate. So again, it's like you can, I talk about lucidess all the time. We talk about everything because everything leads to everything else. Everything's connected. Everything's entwined. So you can get wherever you need to go from wherever you are. I know I say that all the time, but it's because life reminds me all the time. So it's interesting that, a few weeks ago, dismantle the rape, now dismantle the tape, and now dismantle the hate. So another thing, as I was writing, I suddenly stopped because it's intense. To allow myself to explore something that, we've been told is bad and mean and you should never hate. And it's almost like you couldn't get near it. It's almost like it was sinful, I don't even know if that makes sense, but I know at the beginning, oh, that's right, here it is. I wrote, I've been told it's bad, it's mean, it's wrong, that I can't hate or I'll be bad, that hate will eat me up, and it's wrong to hate. Only haters hate. Good people don't hate. Loving people don't hate. So yeah, at the beginning I was writing, that was one of the first things I wrote, is like, it's totally taboo to hate, So anyway, but here I am, and I'm learning a lot by letting myself do just that. Okay, there was one other thing. Well, actually, this next part, I'm going to save that next part for later. So what I really want what I really want to share here, I want to try to go back. So this was maybe just 24 hours ago, when I was writing that in my journal, and really trying to formulate, because I was just feeling so much hate, and I was like, I'm not, in the words were, don't push it away, don't ignore it, like, let it be, like see it. And I was like, okay, how do I don't even know how to work with sort of the intensity of this hate. Not even the intensity, it was like the size. It wasn't even, I was trying to find words for it in the last podcast when I was doing it in the moment. It was like, I know before I've talked about emotions that feel overwhelming, like fear is a very overwhelming emotion for me. This one didn't feel overwhelming. It felt solid, but I don't want to say like a wall, because it wasn't a wall. I would say it's solid in the way that a very, very deep lake is solid. It was like if you had a big hand and you came and you tried to slap the top of this big, huge lake, and it's so deep and so solid that your hand just slaps the top of the water. And I would say that's kind of how the hate was. It was like dense, permeated. It was solid but not solid. And I just was at such a loss of like, how do I even begin to approach this? I don't even know what to do. I've just been feeling it and feeling it and feeling it. So through the writing, and even after I wrote, I didn't really understand. And then as I allowed myself to just feel the hate more and more, like, not even feel it, I guess feel it more, just be like, okay, here it is, like, how, let it go. And this is where I would say Vipassana has served me a lot. Is, Vipassana, you learn the only way forward, the only way through is through. meaning you're not ever going to get through the experience of days upon days of meditating with yourself if you don't finally just let whatever is happening happen. So that's what I've been doing with the hate, is just be like, okay, like can I find any resistance in me, and just try to relax it and just be like, yep, this is exactly how it feels. This is how, my brain is responding to it. This is how pervasive it is. This is how deep it is. This is how dense it is. And all of a sudden I was just like, well, there it is. There it is. See it. And I was like, oh, there it is. See it. And all of a sudden, when I allowed myself to see, I would really say the right word is feel. But for me, feeling brings a lot of clarity. Feeling is seeing. So suddenly, me feeling the hate, whatever level, whatever it was in me, brought me to a specific moment in my life. And in that moment, it solidified. The moment solidified. And I just kind of took a deep breath and went, okay, why do I hate? Why am I feeling hate in this specific moment that was suddenly came up? And I began to look at it and be like, oh, because this was happening and I was experiencing this, and I could see why. I was like, I can see why. I understand why I've been brought back to this moment. And I can see that instead of it, so it was an interesting moment, because I feel like the hate is bringing me back to moments. It's like bringing me back to moments that I did not see or experience well. So it brought me back to a moment, and it said, hey, look at this. Can you see why we're back here? Can you see why we're back here? Not that there's it wasn't like you're back here because you should hate. No, you're back here because something about this moment is triggering hate for you, is giving you a chance. And what I'm experiencing of hate for me is that it's taking me back to moments where I felt hatred, and it's allowing me to see him again and to understand it differently. To understand it differently, and to understand it with who I am today and not who I was then. Why do I think this is so interesting? I find that so many emotions, I would not just say they're teachers. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. I said this at the beginning. I got to get this back out. I got to see. I was just going to say, I think they're leaders. And because they lead you, they'll lead you to where you need to go, and help you figure out. But didn't I write? I did. I wrote this. Okay, hate doesn't ruin a person no more than any other passionate energy. It's a trainer, a leader, sharp and direct. Look here, look at me, see what I see, and decide, but first look. Look at what I'm showing you. Don't ignore it, don't refuse or refute it. Look at it, see it, know it, then decide. But don't just look away or push away or ignore hate. I'm here. See me. You can't get around me. I'm here. Hate is not just going to disappear by not seeing it. Okay, so it's interesting that I did write it was a leader, because I feel like it is. I feel like hate is leading me through time and space. When I'm allowing myself, I'm just trying to be really present and just be like, okay, oh, here's hate again. And it generally is, I'm finding it's, at least for right now, it's tied to moments. And I'm getting quite good at just quickly going there and being like, oh, I see that. And it isn't like, I wouldn't say I'm not just forgiving the whole situation, the moment, and moving on and la la land. No, I'm seeing it and I'm going, oh, this would actually have been a more proper response, whether that response was physical, emotional, mental, a whole conglomerate, spiritual, whatever it was. So I'm addressing the situation in myself in a new way, through understanding what I didn't understand then. And I would say, I don't really know because I'm just me. I feel like I've learned way later than a lot of people. How to navigate other people's what's the word I want? Not just navigate other people. I feel like I've learned way later than many other people, but that's not true actually when I think about it. I think that's probably why I'm doing this. I think there's a good lot of us that are still playing in the realm of what's my responsibility, which is really good for in the Byron Katie work. I remember my mom was big into that. I know I've mentioned she was the one that introduced me to that, took me to my first thing. What's mine, what's yours, what's the universe's. Recently, a therapist introduced me to another one. It's called the 3 circles, same kind of thing, like this is mine, that's yours, and then in between is what we choose to share. That's kind of the relationship is in between. So just a different way. So I feel like I have learned much later than I would have wished, but as soon as I possibly could, what's mine. Well, and that's kind of that's all I really know. That's all I have to say. I get what's mine. And then if it's not mine, then I just go, well, then it's either yours or the universe's. I just know it's not mine. And so that's for you. So again, my experience of hate at this time is it's coming. It was kind of like, I would say it's still a deep mountain lake, lots to teach me, many depths to go, solid and yet not rigid. I know those are words that come. And in the last few hours, or the last, 12, 15 hours of just this quick and brief commitment with an experience of hate, once I've kind of set this framework, once I understood my relationship with hate at this moment. And I say that because your relationship with hate is probably going to be very different. But my relationship with hate in this moment is to allow it to sort of solidify, freeze the moment. I'm going to be aware when I feel hate, and it's going to show me the moment. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see it, look at it, know it, and then decide for myself. And then decide, what is it? What is it about this glimpse in time that is important for me to see? How can this help me to, I don't know, I don't even have an answer. I don't even have a thing, because I don't feel like I'm trying to become something. I'm trying to be something. And those are the words that come. And it's just, for me, it feels like it's all about learning. It's just all about learning. Right now I'm learning that hate has a lot to teach me. Mostly what I'm finding are the moments when I felt hate, it's because I was taking on something that wasn't mine. I was either believing something about myself, I was believing something about the situation, and it tends to have been a belief that was negative or not, at least not supportive of me. And so to be able to look and go, oh, hey, wait, no, I can see why I was so, why I felt hate in that moment. I would say there was probably a lack of self-care. Like, oh, this is what's true for me. This is what I need. This is what I'm going to do. I think I knew the first two, like, this is what's true for me. This is what I need to do. But I didn't follow through. So, another thing I've been asking myself again, because I remember when I started Lucid S 3+ years ago, I remember writing this in big letters, and I would look at it day after day after day, and I think it's such such a powerful thing. How do you do what you've never done before? And I would ask myself, I would say, how do I do what I've never done before? And I would ask myself that, how do I do what I've never done before? If I've never done it before, how do I know how to do it? Especially in this day where we have so few gurus and mentors. Even though we may have lots of online reading, podcasting, I love them all. But I do think it would be quite amazing to have a real life, flesh and blood, physical mentor in my life that had like 20, 30, 40 years on me, which of course those are going to get less and less as I get older. But to have someone who has lived life, those tend to be my most powerful teachers. Anyway, so I've been asking myself that a lot lately, like how do I do what I've never done before? And I often watch, I know I've shared this before, but I often watch athletes do really amazing things, and it's not the athletes that are doing things like that have never been done before, although they do fit into that. They do fit into this, but I tend to watch the ones that have been working year after year, or month after month, and just really trying to get over the hump. And those are the ones that I love to watch when it finally happens, when something happens and you can almost see it. And sometimes it's physical change, but I think anytime there's physical change, there's mental change and emotional change. So, but you can see in them, there's something, the change happens, and then they do the thing they weren't able to do. And it's such a mystery to me, but I think that is what I mean when I say the infinite unbounded potential within each of us. Like, there are these amazing things within each of us, and it's for us to explore ourselves and figure out what prevents me. And so one of the things I love to do is watch athletes as they explore that in their sport. So that's what I'm asking myself right now, is how do I do what I've never done before? And the message right now is, have a soiree with hate and learn all it has to teach me. I don't need to be afraid. It isn't going to consume me. It isn't going to hurt me. It isn't bad or mean or sinful or any of those things. It's a very powerful emotion that is here to teach me, along with so many others that have taught me amazing things. And I would say my first relationship with an emotion was many years ago. It was right after my divorce. It was like the whole divorce rape. Somewhat. No, it was even before. It was, divorce rape. And it was sorrow. And I remember sitting there one time meditating, and suddenly it was like this dark purple robed figure. Was very beautiful. I couldn't see any, human characteristics, but it was some kind of robed kind of human, and it just came over and held out its hand, and I took its hand, and this was like in a dream kind of thing, and the words weren't spoken, but I just knew that we were going to dance. Those were the words, that I was going to dance with sorrow. And I have to say, that was one of the longest dances I've ever had with an emotion. It was hands down the longest dance I've ever had with an emotion. I never thought it would end. I did think it would consume me and kill me. I remember writing time and again that I just felt like I got lost in the cloak or the folds of sorrow, and just over and over again. And that was years and years and years and years. And but sorrow was the one that taught me all that emotions have to teach us, if we learn to have a relationship with them. So anyway, so here I am with hate. And I do have to say, what's interesting is the book that I have somewhat written and want to get back to, one of the main characters, maybe it is the main character, her name is Sorrow, and she wears these dark purple robes, and she's total badass. She's very cool. She's very, very cool. So this podcast was just me sharing. It's me chipping away at what I consider the puritanical lockdown on emotions. So to be human for me is to feel. And what I've learned from meditation is things come up. And so to be able to feel all that's inside of me and not need to judge it and not need to fix myself, just to be able to go, you are feeling a lot of fill in the blank. And sure, I have my preference of emotions, but I'm also willing to learn from who and what is showing up in this moment. So this will be an interesting, I'd say this is more of a tango. I think it'll be fast-moving, powerful, and dynamic. It already has been. I would say hate is a pretty clear teacher. Sorrow, I would say. Sorrow is like swimming through murky darkness. It's like a bog, It's not the crystal clear, deep lake. It's like the bog. It's so messy and sticky and confusing and, it never ends. That hate is like this sharp, clear mountain lake. It's going to be deep. It's going to be quick. It's going to be cold. So I'm ready to learn from hate and to explore it, see it, look at it, know it, and then decide for myself what the best next thing is. And it actually feels like a huge relief for me to know that now when I feel hate, I can just feel it. And that for me is coming home. And I was thinking about, in the previous podcast I talked about my home, and I was thinking about my home this morning. It's a condo with 3 levels, and I feel like for whatever reason, the basement has cleared out. It was kind of, I don't know what it was when I first moved in, but now I go down there and there's just like this clear, clean energy. And now up top in the bedroom space, it feels like this freshness. So now I just have the middle layer. And I think of, if I think of my home as myself, it's like I've sort of cleared the head, and I've sort of cleared like the hips and the legs, and now I kind of have this middle like torso part to clear out. And that energetically feels about right. I've had some weird tummy belly stuff for like years and years and years, and I feel like they're coming up in all of these feelings as I'm allowing myself to feel hate again and again. It's almost like waking my belly up again and saying, okay, like now that we're addressing, some incorrect perspectives, it's like my belly can move again. The whole intestinal system can work again, which of course is my whole brain working again, which won't that be nice? So, So this is me sharing my journey in an authentic way that I hope is helpful, without sharing more intimate details about my life and my experience that honestly that include other people. And that's where my concern was. I was talking about other people in my life, and it didn't feel right the time, but it also wasn't done right. It didn't feel fair in some way. So I thought, that's definitely, I want to be careful about talking about other people, because that to me is crossing some kind of line I don't want to cross. There's so much I can explore about myself and I can say about myself that I don't want to speak. And if I do bring up someone, I hope I want to be sure that I bring it up in such a way that they aren't identified, because that doesn't interest me at all. I'm not out to get anyone. So this is me sharing, being as authentic as I can be about my journey right now, without, harming others, because it's never been my calling. So, hope you guys have a beautiful day, and just remember, if you're feeling the pressure of healing, or the pressure of growth, or the pressure of transformation, or even just the pressure of being, maybe just consider that that's a privilege. It's a privilege for us to feel the pressure of these things, that we aren't just running to save our lives as many of our ancestors have for many, many, many reasons. So pressure is a privilege, even when it's as simple as being able to learn from the powerful emotion called hate. Have a beautiful day.